Hello and welcome to one of the cheapest cameras you can ever get, ESP32 Cam. In this video we will look on one of the smallest and cheapest DIY cameras you can get. You can easily find it on AliExpress under $5, in some special deals even cheaper. But why would you need one? Maybe you need to check on your pets at home, or see your driveway, or any other personal project. But what actually is it? It's basically a small size microcontroller with onboard camera. It's based on ESP32 module with integrated Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. But you can also use this IPEX connector for external antenna to boost Wi-Fi range if needed. On the other side we have 2 megapixel camera on the ribbon cable and SD card slot which you can use for storing the files. Camera itself has a narrow 66 degrees field of view, but you can also use a variety of different lenses, for example 160 degree wide lens, and extend your field of view to cover much bigger area. You can easily remove this clip with your finger, remove the camera with the ribbon cable, slide the new ribbon cable in, clip it back, and now you have installed a different lens just like that. Last thing before we start, you need to plug this module to your computer via USB. However, compared to regular ESP32, this module doesn't have any USB port. Luckily you can buy USB motherboard which will act as our USB interface. This is often sold as part of the set together with ESP32 Cam module. I highly recommend that, so just be careful to find a deal where it's already included. In order to actually use this camera module, you first need to program this camera via Arduino IDE. But don't worry, it's super easy and I will show you how to do it in just few steps. First we search Arduino IDE. And right away the first result is official Arduino website arduino.cc. On the right side you can click to download based on your relevant OS. Continue to just download and once more just download and save the file. Once you downloaded the file, go to download folder, double click the Arduino IDE installer and install it to your PC. Finish the installation and run the Arduino IDE. Now that we are in Arduino IDE, we need to add ESP32 add-on. Go to the file, then preferences, and on the very bottom you can see additional boards manager. Here we will add a link to ESP library. Link in video description down below. Now that we have preparations done, we go again to the file, examples, ESP32, camera, and camera WebServer. This is what you should be seeing. First we need to define a model of ESP32 Cam we have at hand. As you can see, there is a lot of models to choose from. You need to find a correct model on the chip, but if there is none, usually AI Thinker version works for unmarked ones. In our case, we are using the AI Thinker model. Uncomment camera model AI Thinker and comment out the other one. Next, we need to input our actual network credentials. That's your Wi-Fi name and your password. Now we are ready to upload the code. Connect ESP to your computer. Next, go to Tools, Boards, ESP32, and find AI Thinker ESP32 at the bottom of the list. Then once again go to the tools, port and select the port the ESP32 is connected to. Then click the upload button to upload the code to ESP and let it run till the end. We will click Serial Monitor tool on the top left side and we will get the IP address of our ESP. We can open the browser and type in the IP address. Press enter. And now we are greeted with overlay for ESP32 Cam. We can start the stream and get the basic video. We can change the resolution. We can flip the camera if needed. And there is a lot more we can adjust if necessary. You can already use this as naked board and put it on a shelf or zip tie it somewhere, but USB is often not enough to power the ESP. USB powered from PC is limited to 2.5 watts and ideally you want something with at least 5 watts. We can improve this if we will power it directly from a wall with 5 volt DC adapter. It's crucial that it's 5 volts exactly like USB and you want to have an amperage in between 2 to 3 amps. We can use adapter with a barrel plug, which will give us an option to easily connect and disconnect the camera. And on the ESP side we can use a female connector with 2 wires to connect to ESP. The last thing is to put everything together in a small case for it to be more convenient. I already designed ESP with the pins and the ribbon cable coming over the top. The idea is to rest the ESP on the bottom edge and for the lens to have a freedom of movement in eye-like assembly. I've added the barrel plug beneath the ESP facing backwards. And I also modeled the small wires connecting it to the ESP. Now let's start with the base where everything will rest. With base done, now we can see how all electronics will fit inside. Barrel plug is easily accessible and ESP has plenty of room for cooling. We can move to main body and lens assembly. We can look on the cross-section of the main body, and here we can see assembly of the lens and the freedom of movement we can achieve. You can rotate the lens around its axis and move it up and down if necessary. This gives us a fine adjustment if the camera doesn't stand on even surface, or you can put it on a shelf and tilt the lens downwards. We will do a few finishing touches and one accent piece, and we are ready for printing. Now that everything's done, we can see the whole ESP32 camera is neatly packed inside, and it's hardly recognizable at first glance. We have plenty of space for cooling and further customization if necessary. Now let's start printing the parts. With everything done, we are ready for the final assembly. I've added these two wires with 2.54 pitch DuPont terminals, but you can also solder them directly to ESP32 pins. Yes, these wires. We will start with the base and press in the barrel block first. It's an interference fit and it will hold tightly. We will put ESP32 on a stand above the barrel block. And then we will connect our two wires. But be careful with the polarity of the wires, otherwise you will burn the ESP32. Next, we assemble the main body from top. Now we secure the base and the main body together with two M3L20 screws. Holes are slightly undersized, so M3 will create a thread, but not too undersized, so you don't need a tab. Be careful not to use longer screws, otherwise you risk damaging the ESP. Next we start with the lens assembly. We lift the lens with the lower half of the eye and put it in the groove. We place the upper half on lens and we are ready to place the top cover over it. Last thing is to secure the cover with additional M3L20 screws, and we can use this to add small decoration on top. Please enjoy the final result. Thank you for watching and see you next time.